Hi and welcome or welcome back. My name is Reb and we're doing part 2 of the Rockin Rollin Prints series. So in my last video, if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. I'll put a link somewhere up here. But I talked about my carving process and the prep work that went into it. And for this video, we'll be talking about the event and printing itself. So the event was held at the legendary Orange Show. It has a fascinating history. I'm not going to go into the history, but definitely check it out. I'll put a link so that you can kind of read about it. But just know that it is a fixture of the Houston art scene. So next to the monument itself is a warehouse where they have like vendors and there's installations, and that is of course where the well-oiled machine of Rockin Rollin Prints takes place. When you arrive, you check in, put your board against the wall. Each printmaker has a volunteer shift and a duty. I personally was signed up for cleanup, which allowed me to have a little bit of freedom during the event to hang out with a lovely guest that came to see me that some of you may know. Olinda from Olinda's Artistic Oddities came all the way from Austin to come see the event and support me, and I cannot tell you how much I appreciate that. She was so sweet. So we got to kind of roam a little bit. We went and saw Smithers Park, which is a park that's made up almost entirely of mosaics, the whole thing. So when it was time for my board to be printed, they walked it over to the inking station. And I'm going to be really frank here. This is where I completely started to unravel. And also where tip number 1 comes in. Tip number 1 is carve deep. Deeper than you think you need to carve. Thank goodness that my inker was experienced and assessed my board before going in with a fully loaded roller. He ended up applying several layers of very thin ink until it was completely coated. We looked at the board kind of collectively and were worried that it was going to print too lightly, so we decided to add a couple more coats. Cue the immediate regret. By the time he finished rolling, everything looked black. It looked like I had lost all of my detail, and I was basically preparing myself for the worst at that point. So from there, the board gets carried over to the steamrolling section where they put in all the registration boards, line up the paper, put all the covers on, and steamroll it. The steamrolling part is actually very quick. It's just 2 passes, 1 forward and 1 back, and it's done. Y'all, the way that I held my breath while I was waiting for them to lift all the cover and foam and all of that stuff, I'm surprised I didn't pass the fuck out. But when they finally lifted the actual print, the relief was so immediate because I could see that all that detail that I thought I had lost was just fine. So panicking, internally screaming for nothing. So from there, they carried it over to the wall, hung it up so that it could dry, and continue with the other boards and printing. I took a much needed taco break, which brings me to tip number 2. If you are working the event, bring drinks and snacks because that taco did not hold me over until the end of the event. So let's go over to the print itself and we'll talk about the rest there. So here's the print. Ta-da! Not the best lighting. We won't worry about that right now. So the print is of my son. He is kind of laying down on the little pier that we have out in the back. We've got a little pond back there. It's like a little stocked pond with like bass and minnows and catfish. And then we've got birds that frequent the pond a lot. We get everything from eagles to spoonbills to kingfishers and obviously heron. So I just picked this like little moment as the subject of this print. I just thought that it was such a sweet, innocent moment. You know, he was kind of reaching into the water and, you know, just giggling, trying to catch the minnows. And it really just did feel like the perfect day, especially with everything that's going on right now. I think everybody needs a little bit of escapism, and this this moment and this project really kind of provided me with that. So as far as like the technical aspects go, there are a couple like little nitpicky things that I would have probably changed. I think that carving a little bit deeper would have solved some of the issues with, a couple little spots that I got in there that weren't supposed to be there. And maybe making this a little bit lighter here and here would have lifted the overall print and all of that. But overall, I really like it. Compositionally, I think it's good. Um, I think that it's nice to look at. It's a meaningful memory to me, but I don't think that other people won't resonate with it. And it was really cool to see people just kind of stopping and talking about it and pointing at it. I had some really, really nice conversations with people about it. I got a lot of really like nice compliments. So overall, very happy. There were so many cool prints at that show, like so many. One of my favorites was one by Anna Hazel, which I don't think she has a YouTube, but definitely check her out on Instagram. She had it was like a person sitting at a campfire, and part of the like motif was all of these local plants and mushrooms, and it just made my little like forager heart just so happy. So yeah, check out her print. I posted it on my stories on Instagram, but probably won't be there by the time I, you know, load this video. But anyways, this print will be part of a show that is happening in November. I'll put all the like details here in case you're in the Houston area and want to go and see it. If you like this print, you may like some of the other stuff on my shop. So definitely check that out as well. Link in the description. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I forgot tip number 3 is take a Tylenol before you go to bed, because that event is a lot of work if you're volunteering, especially. And tip number 4 is get yourself some good soap, because I still have ink in my cuticles after almost a week, probably. Yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button and share this with anybody that's interested in doing an event like this. I hope that this has maybe inspired you to check out these types of events in your own area and maybe even participate. I'm definitely going to try to convince Alinda to do this with me in 2027. And I don't know, maybe some others too. So yeah, subscribe, like, comment, all that fun stuff, and I will catch you guys on the next video.